And I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll. Yes.
Commissioners Cavell. Erickson Galt. Gershenson. Gingell. Hoffman is excused. Johnson.
Present.
Joliet.
Present.
Long.
Here.
Lubes.
Here.
Markham. I'll come back to her. Miller is excused. Nelson.
Here.
Powell. Here. Rahman.
Present.
Smith Charles. Spiz.
Present.
Taylor. Here. Weipert.
Here.
Woodward.
Here.
Markham. Is she not back yet? Okay. Well, Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Quorum's been established. I will call on Commissioner Chris Long to lead us through tonight's invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. We come to you this hour and ask for your blessing and help as we gather. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to come together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we challenge each other to reach higher and farther and to be the best that we can be. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Long. We have a large number of people who are joining us this evening. We have an overflow room. And I just want to assure, particularly those in that room, that we have everyone will be allowed to speak during public comment, first and or second. And just want to make sure that everyone in the room is aware of that, and including in our friends just around the corner. Next up, we got approval of the minutes from the August 1st, 2024 meeting. Can I get a motion to approve? Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes from the August 1st meeting is adopted unanimously. Next up is approval of the agenda as presented. One item that was originally on it has been moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda. All other changes are the same as the originally posted agenda. Is there a motion to move the agenda? Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any discussion about approval of the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda has been approved. This will move us to communications, and we have a proclamation. The first proclamation for National Recovery Month. Do we have, who is presenting that? Commissioner Lubes will be presenting that. I'll call on Commissioner Lubes to come to the front and present. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of Oakland Community Health Network and Oakland County, for those of us living and working in Oakland County, there are two proclamations. The first is National Recovery Month, and the second is National Suicide Prevention Month. For National Recovery Month, we have an estimated 50 million Americans classified as having a substance abuse disorder. So it's imperative to highlight the transformative impact of addiction recovery on individuals, families, and communities. We'd like to bring attention to this effort and what we do as a county through our various groups, whether it be a coalition, whether it be therapy, an outpatient, a detox, an intensive outpatient program that really we work for you, we serve you, and we want to help you. Recovery comes in all forms, whether it's substance abuse or mental health. The second item, the National Suicide Prevention Month. In the United States, there is one death by suicide every 11 minutes, and this rate continues to increase every year. Again, through the National Alliance on Mental Illness, through Oakland Community Health Network, through the Oakland County Suicide Prevention Task Force, in our zero suicide philosophy, we want to emphasize that we are here to help you. And we have many resources on our website. You can ask any one of us for help. We want everyone to live a good life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for recognizing these very two important issues. Next up, I will call on Commissioner Gingell and Law. Good. We've got two really incredible. I believe my. In the order. I mean, it's you.
All right.
To recognize two amazing young women in our community. Commissioner Gingell, the floor is yours.
Sure. So this evening, we're going to recognize Miss Oakland County's Teen 2024, Cynthia Tao, and she hails from Rochester Hills, which the way that the commissioner boundaries are set up is that a number of commissioners split Rochester Hills. I have a few pieces of it. Brendan has more of it. There might be others. Mike Spiz has a piece as well. So we're all going to come up and you have a bipartisan proclamation this evening for you. But I would ask Cynthia to come up so that we can honor her with this presentation. Congratulations. All right, so let me start out and we'll take some turns reading it. But whereas the commitment and dedication shown by remarkable young women such as Cynthia Tao inspires us all and serves as a model for others. And whereas recently crowned Miss Oakland County's teen, Miss Tao hails from Rochester Hills and is a proud graduate of Rochester Adams High School. Now, you may have Rochester Adams. We have Lake Orion High School, Oxford High School, so we're doing this in a very friendly manner tonight. Whereas she excelled academically and served on the boards of local chapters of the National Honor Society and the French Honor Society, now a freshman at the University of Michigan, Ms. Tao plans to major in psychology and double minor in dance and business.
Thank you very much. We're recognizing the importance of mentoring and education. Cynthia's devoted significant time over the last few years tutoring young learners at Owen Elementary in Pontiac. She provides tutoring and homework assistance. She has been a stalwart volunteer at the C4H, that's the food pantry right here in Oakland County. Amazing work. And you have done incredible work with helping over 1,800 people experiencing food insecurity right here in Madison Heights. You also helped organize an amazing coat drive for folks here in Michigan as well as in Ukraine, which I can't thank you enough for doing. It's really important to help our compatriots over in Ukraine. Her passion for advocating for those without access to life's basic needs has led her to developing her competitive platform, Poverty Solutions, supplying resources for those in need.
Whereas on the commencement of her reign as Miss Oakland County's Teen 2024, we joined with Ms. Tao's family, fellow competitors, and scholarship organizers to congratulate her on this achievement. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Michael Gingell, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to Cynthia Tao. It is our honor to have such a generous, accomplished teenager representing Oakland County, so we thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia Tao. I have been able to help around 1,800 people in my community through a nonprofit organization called C4H. As a secretary, I help organize monthly free food distributions in Madison Heights, seasonal coat drives, and collaborating with the Grace Center of Hope in Pontiac through our Cook for Homeless programs. So as Miss Oakland County's Teen 2024, I want to continue to help alleviate the struggles and pressures that come from poverty around our cities in Oakland County. For example, Pontiac, which is where the poverty rate is significantly higher than the national average, so I'd love to start there. But I'm super honored to represent my hometown, Oakland County, at Miss Michigan's Teen next summer in Muskegon, Michigan. And I'm just very excited to continue to help out my community and just continue to build Oakland County so it's an awesome place for everyone to live in. So thank you.
Want to make your mom come up for one? We'll take one more. We got to do it. All right. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Congratulations. Recognize achievements of another talented individual, Commissioner Long, Commissioner Rollins.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alexis Ulmer, if you'd come up here, please. She's Miss Oakland County. And if you recognize her, she was Miss Oakland County Teen 2 years ago. So we produce good stuff in commerce. So I'm going to start by reading the proclamation, but congratulations to you. Whereas it is an honor to recognize young women such as Alexis Ulmer, who dedicate their time and efforts to highlighting and supporting causes that affect millions of Americans. And whereas Ms. Ulmer, recently crowned Miss Oakland County 2024, grew up in Commerce Township. The 19-year-old attended Walled Lake Central High School, where her accolades included graduating on the honor roll and participating in Student Council, National Honor Society, and other school clubs. Ms. Ulmer is currently a sophomore at the University of Michigan. I told her I wouldn't hold it against her because I'm a Spartan, but that's a great school, so I'm proud of you, where she studies kinesiology and dance. Her career aspirations include becoming a physical therapist specializing in post-neural injury recovery and dancing professionally on cruise ships while traveling the world. And I'm going to visit you on the cruise ship too. Right here, then you can finish it.
All right. Whereas Miss Ulmer, who also served as Miss Oakland County's Outstanding Teen in 2022, continues to raise awareness of eating disorder with her #FoodFreedom, Preventing Eating Disorders on College Campuses platform. Eating disorders, which affect around 9% of the population, can have devastating effects on those who are impacted. To help combat the prevalence on social media of negative body image and disordered eating, which can often lead to more severe eating disorders, Ms. Ulmer aims to educate and inform college students by providing tools to understand media bias and increase self-confidence in partnership with the Kirsten Hageland Foundation and the National Eating Disorder Foundation. And whereas we join Miss Ulmer's family, friends, and all of the Oakland County to congratulate her on her victory as Miss Oakland County 2024, and to commend her efforts to reduce the frequency of these disorders. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Chris Long, myself, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to Alexis Ulmer. We wish her the best of luck in representing the county in the upcoming Miss Michigan competition.
Well, like they so beautifully said, I am a sophomore at U of M. I just came there today, and it is truthfully such an honor to be back here and be able to represent Oakland County again. I said earlier that I liked it so much I came back and did it twice. So yeah, so my platform, #FoodFreedom, Preventing Eating Disorders on College Campuses. So according to the National Eating Disorder Association, over 1/2 of teenage girls and 1/3 of teenage boys have used some sort of troubling weight control method, like fasting or skipping meals. And this was the issue that I really focused on when I was Miss Oakland County's teen 2 years ago. And I'm trying to build upon that foundation I made and try to create actual change and to change this statistic, specifically starting on my school campus and working with Oakland County to make people realize the self-confidence they have in themselves and realize that what they're seeing on social media is never actually the full truth. But yes, like Cynthia said, I'm very, very honored to be able to represent Oakland County at Miss Michigan in June 2025 in Muskegon.
Congratulations. Another shining example of the incredible talent that we have in Oakland County, and best of wishes in both Cynthia and Alexis' your endeavors. Thank you again. Another round of applause for Cynthia and Alexis. Okay, next up, we got a presentation. We have another, great member of our team with our Climate Corps that joined us, our Climate Corps, working with our Office of Environment and Sustainability. And so I'm going to welcome Nicole Card with our Michigan Healthy Climate Corps to give us an update on some of the great work that's happening in the Office of Sustainability.
Thank you. So good evening to all the commissioners, and thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak today. I also wanted to say thank you to everyone else in attendance. I wasn't expecting nearly such a big crowd tonight, but I'm super happy to see everyone here coming to make yourself heard. I think you guys are all awesome, so thank you also for your time and patience during the presentation. My name is Nicole Card, as the chair mentioned, and I'm an AmeriCorps member serving in Oakland County. I've been here since March, and my service runs through November, and I'm very excited to share some of the recent updates from the Office of Sustainability and the accomplishments from the past year. So a quick introduction just about me. I have a background in environmental science, which I studied at Northeastern University, and before coming to the county, I worked in environmental research, local climate advocacy, urban agriculture, and just a lot of different climate action in the local Michigan community. And I was born and raised, and I currently live in Macomb County, so I'm your neighbor to the east. And it's been a lot of fun getting to know and serving the community of Oakland County. So in this presentation, I'll go over a quick background of the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan, which is what established the AmeriCorps program that I'm in. And we'll tie that into Oakland County's own sustainability plan. And I'll give some updates on how we're doing towards achieving the goals of that sustainability plan. And then I'll give some updates on the Oakland Saves program, which was a major project for the Office of Sustainability this year, and also the main focus of my service at Oakland County. I'll tie that all back into the goals, and then I just want to end with looking ahead at what's to come and what else we need to accomplish the rest of the goals in the sustainability plan. And I'll save some time for questions at the end. So the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan was released in April of 2022, and it just lays out goals and policy recommendations for the state of Michigan. So much like Oakland County, the state of Michigan has the goal of being carbon neutral by 2050. And it's quite a long document, but it has 6 pillars that encapsulate the main policy items, which are committing to environmental justice and the just transition, cleaning the electric grid, electrifying vehicles and increasing public transit, repairing and decarbonizing homes and businesses, clean innovation in industry, and protecting Michigan's land and water. So through this plan, the Michigan Healthy Climate Corps was launched this year, and it's part of the new federal American Climate Corps. And there are 30 members, including myself, serving full-time around the state. So just as a reminder, I included the Office of Sustainability's guiding principles, just to show how these tie in to the sustainability plan that was approved for Oakland County. So this sustainability plan has two major goals that I mentioned, one being carbon neutrality for county operations by 2050. And the interim goal for that is 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2035. So the plan identifies 2 high priority actions to make this happen, and these need to happen early because they represent significant future planning and capital investment. One of those priority actions is identifying pathways to decarbonization, and the other is fleet and equipment electrification. And the ongoing actions are things that can be done continuously throughout regular operations. So in terms of our progress towards this plan, One thing I wanted to mention is that there will be an updated greenhouse gas inventory done on the 2023 data, which will give us our first snapshot of how we're doing since the baseline of 2018. In terms of the pathways to fuel decarbonization, we have gone through the bid process and selected a contractor to perform an energy study for Oakland County operations. So that will provide a future pathway for all of our planning around decarbonizing the buildings, and it will also lead into our fleet conversion and charging infrastructure. But we're already making progress on the EV transition, including the very first dual-part EV charger has been installed here. I'm really bad with directions, so I can't quite point, but one of these parking lots has the first Oakland County EV charger, and we, that way, okay, behind me. Yeah, okay, Commissioner Markin is plugged in. And there are 12 EVs and 3 hybrids in the fleet. So we're pursuing a grant that would help advance some of those further, but we have a good start there. And there's also a good start in terms of decarbonizing our electrical supply. Starting in 2026, 75% of all electricity used in the Oakland County campus will come from solar, based on an off-site power purchase agreement. And our first on-site solar array was installed recently. It's been performing super well this summer. Everyone in the facilities team has been very excited about it when we talk to them. I won't spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to point out how a lot of this work has been funded through federal and state grants that the office has brought down. So this funding has been coming from a lot of different locations, and one of the major funding sources led to the Oakland Saves program, which is a really major program that we worked on this year and was the main focus of my service through AmeriCorps. For those who aren't familiar, Oakland Saves was an energy efficiency program for residents in Oakland County. So the county gave grants to residents to make energy efficiency improvements to their home. This was anything from HVAC to insulation, solar panels, windows, doors, things like that. And over 1,000 households have already been served. We're expecting to serve 1,100 by the time that the program closes out. As soon as the program was launched this year, all the funds were encumbered within 5 days. And to this really represents that there's a high need for this sort of program in the communities that we're serving. So we tried to focus on low-income households through a couple different methods, one of them being that 80% of the funds were set aside specifically for low-income households. But as part of Climate Core, my main work on this was data analysis, outreach to the community and to the waitlist, and gathering feedback on the successes and improvements for the program. This slide is a little more background on the work that I did. So in addition to processing the waitlist applicants, I'm also helping all the participants claim the utility rebates that their work qualified them for. And some households are seeing up to $1,100 in utility rebates for the work. $200 to $300 is a lot more common, but regardless of the amount, this has just been an additional benefit that homeowners get from the program. And I've also been working on data analysis from the data we're getting from this program, and it's provided a lot of insights on what we could do differently and better. So for example, we found that over 50% of the improvements done were building shell, like insulation. And this led us to some creative thinking about how we can collaborate with the federal weatherization program and provide like more holistic approach for the households in our program. We've also been working on mapping, which allows us to see where jobs were completed and how that overlays with area income and housing age, and gives us more insights on how we can improve the program outreach. And the final thing that I've been working on is building relationships with the utilities and other departments within the county so that we can continue to serve households in a holistic way rather than a bunch of patchwork programs that are rather difficult for homeowners to navigate. And the other big thing is we are looking for funds to continue the program since it was only funded as a one-time event. So I helped fill out an EPA application, which the commissioners should expect to see hopefully next week. Little teaser on that, but we're really hopeful that that can lead to the continuation of this program because there is a lot of need for it. There's a lot of numbers on this slide, but at a really high level, going over some of the impact of the program, There was 7.7 million total project costs done through this program, 4.6 of it being direct incentives. That's completely nothing out of the pocket from homeowners, and 3 million of it was leverage. This led to about 3.4 million in energy bill savings over the lifetime of the improvements that were installed, and also a significant 16,000 metric ton of CO2 equivalent greenhouse gas reductions. As I mentioned, 80% of the funds were allocated for low-income households, and we found through mapping that 19% of the jobs were done in federal Justice 40 regions, and these are census tracts that the federal government has noted as having a high environmental burden. So it might be high rates of asthma, high rates of pollution, but 19% of our jobs were done in those districts. And this is my favorite statistic. 96% of participants and households who were surveyed said that they were either satisfied or highly satisfied with the program. So it's really nice to see that people did get what they wanted out of the program and felt that they were well served by their government, because I know that's not, always the reputation that we have. So that was a really good statistic. And another positive was that we saw 52 local contractors go through this program and participate who were able to see economic benefit from it. And to highlight the environmental justice commitment of Oakland Saves, I know I mentioned those first 2 bullet points already, but we also collaborated with the Neighborhood and Housing Development Team and the local Community Action Agency to make sure that we served hard-to-reach vulnerable populations who might not have been reached by our regular outreach. And we also worked hard to address digital access barriers for some of the older residents by providing assistance with over-the-phone online application for people who weren't comfortable using the internet or didn't have computers. And we also did all of our outreach in multiple languages to address access in that way. So that was a lot of different things that the Office of Sustainability has been working on, but you can see that they all tie back into the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan, the Oakland County Sustainability Plan, and also the county's strategic goals. And we definitely feel that 2024 has been a very successful year for working towards these goals, but we know there's still a lot left to do, which is why I wanted to end on just a looking forward note of what's coming next. So the Oakland Saves program should be done by the end of this year. We have a little bit of waitlist money left to spend, and the community change grant application that I mentioned will hopefully allow us to continue the Oakland Saves program in the future if we are awarded those funds. But if not, we'll continue looking for other funding sources or collaboration opportunities to advance the program. As I mentioned earlier, we also have the energy study, which is going to provide a lot of internal focus on what the Office of Sustainability will do for county operations. And we will continue aggressively pursuing federal sustainability dollars so that we can advance sustainability in our communities. So the end of my service is November 15th, but I know that in order to accomplish these goals, we're really just looking for continued commitment from our staff, from our partners, from our community at large, and from the commission so that we can serve the community and advance sustainability and meet our goals. Let's see, did I miss anything? I think that's everything. So if anyone has questions, I have no idea how I'm doing on time, but thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to serve at Oakland County. It's been a lot of fun and just quite a joy for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. I think the Oakland State, you say, I think there were a couple questions, hands on the, so we'll take those. But maybe first, to a point of privilege, I think the Oakland Saves program is an incredible demonstration in how we can effectively leverage resources available, lower costs permanently for households across the county, and achieve our long-term climate goal all at the same time. And so thank you for your leadership. I know, the speed, just for those who are listening, the dollars, the plan, the execution was done in weeks and deployed. The dollars were allocated in less than a week, and to see all of this work almost completed, just a few on the wait list to go, is nothing short than wow. So thank you very much. Commissioner Long.
Thank you. That was a good presentation, Nicole. So I'm wondering, November 15th, are we
are you requesting to stay? Do we have that in our budget? Is she, I mean, I guess that comes up, I think.
Commissioner Long is looking for a personal assistant to lead all sustainable
Yes.
efforts from the board's perspective.
Yes, okay, so it might be a possibility that she's gonna stay.
Right.
Okay,
Here we-
all right. See, now you heard it, now you get a commitment before you go home tonight. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
that's on the
kidding.
record.
Thank you.
Any other question from commissioners? All right. Thank you. Very thorough presentation. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Nicole, we continue to work for you on this tour of duty. All right. Okay. It'll bring it. Our next part of the agenda is communications, and I will call on the clerk to share the communications today.
We've got a few this evening. The first is dated July 11th, 2024, regarding a notice of resignation to Jill Robinson, the Executive Director of the Oakland County Land Bank. Dear Jill, on June 27th, 2024, my notice of resignation as the Village Manager of Beverly Hills was accepted by the Beverly Hills Village Council. My last day as Village Manager will be August 1st, 2024. Thus, effective August 1st, 2024, I must also submit my resignation as a board member for the Oakland County Land Bank. I will remain a great supporter of the Land Bank's efforts and wish the board and the Land Bank all the best. It was truly an honor to serve on the board. Thank you. Sincerely, Jeff Campbell, Village Manager, I guess, former Village Manager. The next is dated August 12th, 2024, to Dwight Farrell, the General Manager of SMART. Dear Dwight, I am pleased to appoint Diana D. McBroom to the SMART Board of Directors. Dee is a longtime advocate for improved regional transit and looks forward to assisting the transformation underway at SMART to improve service in Oakland County and the entire region. It includes Dee's contact information, and stating that Hillary Chambers, who was the appointee, will serve through the August board meeting on Thursday, August 22nd, and Dee's appointment shall begin immediately following that date. Brett Razigan will continue to serve as Oakland County's second appointee. Sincerely, David Coulter. And I apologize if I mispronounce the name. The next is dated August 30th to me. Dear Ms. Brown, pursuant to 2003 PA 281, Section 9, Sub A, please be advised that I hereby appoint Megan Sellers as Deputy Executive 1. In the event of the absence or inability of the county executive to perform the duties of office, the deputy in the following ranking order shall perform the duties of the county executive until such time as the county executive can resume the duties of office. 1, Walt Herzig, Chief Deputy County Executive. 2, Sean L. Carlson, Deputy County Executive 2. 3, April M. Lynch, Deputy County Executive 1. 4, Medea Tarek, Deputy County Executive 1. 5, Megan C. Sellers, Deputy County Executive 1. These appointments and designations are effective on this date and continue at the pleasure of the county executive. Sincerely, David Coulter. And the final communication tonight, dated September 5th, 2024, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chair of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines and the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications. The first one, the grant name is the IRA Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program 2024 grant application for the Parks and Rec Department in the amount of $225,000. The grant application deadline was August 31st, 2024. The next one, the grant name is Ducks Unlimited Wetlands Conservation Program, again for Parks and Recreation in the amount of $450,000. And that grant application deadline was August 30th, 2024. The next grant is the MEDC Mobility Deployment Grant. That is for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $275,000 with a deadline of August 29th, 2024. And the final grant was the Inflation Reduction Act EPA Community Change Grants Program for the Water Resources Commissioner in the amount of $19,846,301. Grant application deadline November 21st, 2024. Sincerely, David Woodward.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Those are the communications that we have for this evening. Moved by Commissioner Weipert, seconded by Commissioner Taylor to receive those communications. Any discussions or clarification? Seeing none, all in favor of receiving the communications say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect the communications have been received unanimously. Next up, we've got public comment. So for those who are joining, we have 2 public comments. We have the first public comment for any member of the public to speak on items on the consent and regular agenda, and then we have a second public comment to speak on any other topic under the sun. I'm going to open up the first public comment and recognize Joe Roselle. I know that 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
You're no stranger to this. So
I am no
if you can
stranger
keep your
to that.
comments
Thank you.
restricted 3 minutes. This is not, items related to the agenda.
Thank you. First of all, I will mention that on the agenda today is the Friend of the Court. We are bringing on another 100 members into the UAW. So those of you in the audience from the Friend of the Court, welcome to our union. This now makes us the largest single union representing Oakland County employees. I'm also here along with that, and we have some other unions here. I know we have reps from the nurses union and reps from the IBEW here because we are here in solidarity to talk about not just the Friend of the Court supplement that came in, but the next contract that the UAW is working on. And an attack on one union is an attack on all unions. And we are here in solidarity. We've been in negotiations since May, in good faith, bargaining with administration for a fair contract. And we have lost movement on that. And we want you as elected representatives of this county to know that. 80% of our 860 members are taxpayers and voters of this county. Our contract, what we are asking for is not unreasonable, but what we're being presented with would decimate our health care and provide a general salary increase that will continue to keep us under inflation. That is unacceptable. During budget hearings, some commissioners said that the budget is a value statement of this board. We have value. These people work in public health, elections, management and budget, civilians in the sheriff's office. They work in all departments of this county. Access to justice, you name it. We cover the full gamut. We were told during negotiations, and we weren't asking for the same contract that the sheriff's deputies had. But we were told in negotiations, because we don't wear bulletproof vests, we don't have value. We have value. What do we want? A fair contract. When do we want it? Now. That's right. The board controls the budget. You are all independently elected officials with the authority to talk to the county executive and make your position clear. The UAW has supported a lot of you, and we're asking for your support now. The UAW supports elected officials that support labor. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. If you support us, we support you. There's been all kinds of posts on social media by elected officials standing with the big three when they were on strike and in the Labor Day parade. And all of those UAW members I'm wrapping up, I promise. All of those UAW members. What about the UAW members that work here that serve the citizens of this county? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Thank you very much. On the item? Yes, of course. Director English.
Thank you so much. And Joe, what a fabulous job that you did there. And he's right. Yes, to give him a round of applause. Yes. I mean, he's correct. The UAW, we support a lot of the candidates here, but we're more than just the auto. And that's the thing people have to understand. We are about the working class. It doesn't matter if you work in a plant, doesn't matter wherever you work. Here in Oakland County, these are UAW members. Our job as UAW members is making sure that our members have fair wages for a fair day of pay. And that's what they want. Since May, Tom has been negotiating for these members here. You have over 850 UAW members within this organization right now that makes this county, it just operates by that. So we have to learn to support. Like I said, I'm always, as a regional director, getting candidates to ask me to support. And one of the things about the UAW now, we're making people earn our endorsements, and they will not be given out. And we expect the same treatment. If you have UAW members, we expect you to respect our members, or we cannot.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's our values. And that's our core value as a UAW. Our core value is to take care of our members. And here in Oakland County, it's very expensive to live, and I don't think they're asking for much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Director English. So, we strayed a little bit off the items on the agenda, and welcome everybody speaking public comments. We want to ask that people who have signed up to speak on the items on the agenda, if there are items not on the agenda, I ask you to wait for the second public comment. I got to make certain that there's people in the other room that has any other items. I got a couple other people here. Again, and ask people out of respect for our process that we speak to items on the agenda, and then if not, you'll be first up on the second public comment. Can talk on any items, including the contract negotiation on that's underway right now. Next up is Rob Doyle. What? Okay, well, are we moving to the second one or? Second, thank you very much. Mr. Mike Swain. Second, thank you very much. Okay, I think I got everyone on. Excuse me, Susan Nimlin. Susan, I wonder if Susan's in the other room. Can I ask staff to check if there anyone who wants to speak on items on the agenda in our overflow room to make certain that we ensure that everyone there is also afforded the opportunity to speak during this first public comment. Second? That's all second. Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no further public comment for the first public comment session of today's meeting, we will close public comment, move to reports of standing committees. First up is the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion on the items that are on the consent agenda as in the approved agenda? See none. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote. Sounds like a phone nearby, but it's not mine. I'm off.
Okay. It was prompted. You got it now? Okay. Commissioner Spiz?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson? Commissioner Lubes?
Yes.
Commissioner Markham? Commissioner Powell? Commissioner Cavell? Commissioner Rahman? How'd they fix this? Oh. Commissioner Gingell? Thank you. 17. Yeah. Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the consent agenda is adopted. That moves to the regular agenda. The first person I will call up is the chair of our Finance Committee, the Honorable Gwen Markham.
One item on the agenda tonight from the Finance Committee, and it's resolution number 2024-4417, a motion to confirm the appointment of Aaron Frederick Wagner to the position of Chief Procurement Officer.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. Any discussion? I think only to say that we are getting the best of the best and welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you as this board. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote. Oh, did you? Okay. Hey. I'm going to have them rise after.
Yeah, please. There we go. Now you put a name with a face.
I didn't bring my computer.
Commissioner Gingell?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson? Yes. Commissioner Powell? Okay. Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The confirmation is confirmed. Mr. Wagner, welcome. Please stand. And congratulations. I'm sure many of our commissioners look forward to having lots of conversations on many topics going forward.
That concludes the report of the Finance Committee tonight, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Markham. Next up, I'll call up the Honorable Brendan Johnson, the Chair of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just 2 items today from the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee. Mr. Chair, I'd like to first move the appointment on the recommendation of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee to appoint Sarah Guadalupe as a general public member to the Oakland Community Health Network for the remainder of the 3-year term beginning September 5th, 2024 and concluding March 31st, 2026.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion about this appointment? Seeing none, it's glad to see her back. So, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Gingell?
Yes.
Is your thing not working?
I'm not taking it personally.
Did you try the
I thought
e-vote
they
thing?
fixed it. Commissioner Lubes? Yes. Commissioner Nelson? Yes.
You did the e-vote?
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The confirmation is confirmed. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would next like to make the motion on the recommendation of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee to approve item benefit plan modifications effective January 1st, 2025.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Cavell.
I just want to lift up, especially because we got some cameras here and a lot of folks, thank you for coming out. You're making democracy work. Just wanted to add that.
Please speak to the motion.
Right, good looking out, Chair. We discussed this in committee and also in caucus, and I just want to lift up that this would not have taken so much conversation or consternation or taxes or strife or cost on employees if we had national health insurance.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavell. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Loobs? Yes. Commissioner Powell? Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 2 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Thank you very much. Next, that will move us to new and miscellaneous business. So we have 2 items. The first, I will recognize Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce miscellaneous resolution support for U.S. Senate Bill 4776 to amend the Older Americans Act of 1965 by increasing levels of funding for county governments. And I'd like to refer it to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Referred without objection. Next up, I'll call on Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce a resolution for a funding appropriation for independent after-action review on the Oxford High School shooting and other mass shooting events.
Right. Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Just to put this in the context, and I think it's been discussed in both caucuses, this is a resolution that's going to appropriate $500,000, authorize our Homeland Security Department to begin an RFP process to find a qualified firm to do the after-action report. We will also, I would say part 2 of this is to develop a policy in Oakland County and how we will do, as a matter of course, after-action reports when tragedies like this happen in Oakland County. So, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Loobs? Yes. Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. I believe that concludes all the new and miscellaneous business on tonight's meeting. This will move us to announcements. Are there announcements? Commissioner Gingell, followed by Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to remind everybody that the Palazzo Debacci in Orion Township is having their domestic tournament this weekend for all the bocce players across the United States to come to the great township of Lake Orion where living is a vacation, and all the commissioners are invited, as well as the public are invited to come September 12th through the 14th, and then in particular for the commissioners on the evening of the 14th, there'll be a special reception due to our sponsorship and the gratitude from the owners of Palazzo Debacci. So I hope that you'll all join me. For those that have been there, I hope you'll attest that it's a great time. And for those that haven't, when you come, you will attest that it's a great time. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Genjo. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would just like to say, on behalf of the Rochester community, which includes Rochester Hills, which is innovative by nature, in the city of Rochester, which is where you live, it's our annual Arts and Apples Festival this weekend, and it's a great time. And I did not ask Mother Nature to start fall this early. I wish she hadn't, but she has. So I've got my pumpkin spice latte on my mind, and I hope to see you all at Arts and Apples.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Powell.
I just wanted to echo to all of our Oakland County employees who are here today. It was brought to our attention in our caucus meeting that there was a misunderstanding that the commissioners have voted our budget for this year. And I just wanted to clear that statement. That has not been done. We have to vote the current budget in place by October 1st. So thank you all for coming to speak to us, and look forward to seeing how this all turn out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Powell. Please ask people to refrain from public discussion. Any other announcements of commissioners? See none, we'll move to the next part. This is the second public comment. So what I'm going to ask, and we've got people in the other room that want to, I'm going to start with the first two members that moved to public comment, and then if people, to those who are listening, I got staff that are listening, there are a couple seats in the audience, so if slowly we want to start moving some people from the overflow, I just want to make it as easy as possible for everyone who's here that wants to speak. Everyone who's come here to speak, whether you signed up or not, I will ensure that everyone will be allowed to speak. So I will start again with Rob Doyle. Move down the list. Okay, Mike Swain. Mike, before you start, is like I understand like the applause is just want to make certain that it doesn't cut into people's 3-minute timeline. So I just want to be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. It's like we try to make certain that that's a decorum that everyone practices. I didn't say this at the top of the first one. We just ask that you direct your comments to me. I've got a clock up here for 3 minutes, and just ask that you keep your comments 2-3 minutes so that we can make sure that everyone's afforded the opportunity to speak. With that, Mr. Swain, welcome.
Thank you. I'm a county employee and a member of the county's largest union, the UAW. I want to address a pressing issue that we've been talking about that doesn't only affect our members here, but also the vital services we're providing to the people of this county. So despite the record increases in property tax revenue that this county has seen, our pay has not kept pace with inflation or that revenue. In recent years, we've experienced significant inflationary pressures, housing costs, groceries, and transportation expenses that have all surged. The county's proposal that Joe had mentioned does not adequately reflect these realities. Instead, it requests substantial concessions in our healthcare benefits, which further compounds the financial strains on our members. As I said, our members work diligently across various departments without bulletproof vest, delivering essential services that our community relies on every day. It is crucial that any contract acknowledges the increased costs we face and ensures our healthcare benefits remain intact. I urge the board to support us in negotiating a fair contract that addresses these challenges, and by doing so, you will not only support the dedicated employees behind me, but also ensure that we can continue to serve our community effectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next up, I have Susan Nimlin. Is Susan here? Susan Nimlin? Welcome. After that, I got Joe, are you going to speak a second time? Okay, all right. Next up, I got Tom Reagan. Susan,
hi.
welcome.
I'm Susan Nimlin. I am a resident of Lake Orion in Oakland County. This is really new for me, so I am here with a group of people from this area that are asking the board to consider sending information to our higher-ups to stop sending armaments to Israel because of the terrible cost it has been to innocent people. And anyway, that's all I have to say at this point.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Bye. Next up, I have Tom Reagan, which I believe might be in the other room. So I'll just give I'm going to call up Tom Reagan, Fran McClish, and if Director English wants to come up for a second time. Oh, you're good. Okay. Is Tom here? I don't see Tom, so if he shows up, I'll bring him up. Fran, followed by Tala DeBoer, and then Hannah Mathers.
Way low.
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay. First, I would like to thank all of the commissioners for your services to the county. Thank you. As you know, my name is Fran McClish, and I'm a public health nurse and vice chair for the MNA, Michigan Nurses Association. Myself and many of my amazing coworkers are here this evening to firmly support the UAW. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tala DeBoer, Hannah Mathers, and Ishmael Noor.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Tala DeBoer, and I am Oakland County. As I began to gather my words to speak here today for yet another time, I first asked myself, what more can I say to convince you to condemn genocide? But what more can really be said on top of everything that has already been said, week after week, month after month? Hearing firsthand accounts from your constituents, the question really is, what are you still debating? You don't need me to come up here and talk about the mass killing of innocent civilians, half of which are children. Almost 10% of the child population in Oakland County would be dead based on the numbers that we're seeing in Gaza. Forced starvation, man-made public health crises, the polio outbreak, complete destruction of not just homes, hospitals, schools, and universities, but family lines, cultures, and histories much older and richer than any of you will ever have the privilege of knowing. The technical term is genocide. It's a baseline platform. I don't care what party you identify with or if it's none at all. This is basic. Condemn genocide, do the bare minimum. I'm assuming no one here is a proponent of genocide. So ask yourself, what is the hesitation? I would venture to guess that if this was affecting any other group, you would not need to deliberate this much. But specifically because the victims here are majority Arab and Muslim, hi, nice to meet you, that's where your hesitation lies. There's a word for that. And this is not at all to discount the decimation of churches and the Palestinian Christian community that are at the brink of extinction because of this genocide. But really, what is the hesitation? Ask yourself, what is so controversial about condemning genocide in this case? Even if you don't want to call it a genocide, ceasefire. Just support a ceasefire. What would you accept this for you and your community and your families? Why is it okay in this instance? And this is just a question I'm asking. I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you believe that one group of people's safety and security is so superior to another's, that you can justify this level of abhorrent violence, barbaric violence against innocent civilians, children on this scale, there's a word for that. If that characterization offends you, if the characterization of racist offends you, then don't do it and condemn genocide, call for a ceasefire.
Thank you, Tala. Hannah Mathers, followed by Ishmael Noor.
Hello. Thank you for your time. My name is Hannah Mathers, and I'm a longtime Oakland County resident. Am I doing that?
Just hold on a second. We'll start the clock.
Okay.
Can Commissioner mute their mics if they are on, and hopefully to address that feedback, and including the one down in front here. Okay.
Thank you.
Go on, Hannah.
I'm here today in support of a resolution for a ceasefire in Palestine. A quote by Naomi Klein comes to mind every time I think about why I speak out about this violence. She says, "Side with the child over the gun every single time, no matter whose gun and no matter whose child." Using this quote as inspiration, I question the false conflation of choosing Palestinian children over US-sponsored Israeli guns and bombs with anti-Semitism. It is concerning, infuriating, and inhumane to claim this is the root of the reason the people are speaking out about the atrocities occurring in Gaza and beyond. Increasingly, Israelis are calling for a ceasefire too, highlighting that their safety is also wound up in the liberation and autonomy of the Palestinian people. A ceasefire now is the only step to safety for all in the area. Commissioners in Oakland County, let's make a statement that we value life over violence, safety over domination, and children over guns. We can make a local choice in Oakland County that demonstrates to our children that these are our values. One way to do this is to pass a resolution for a ceasefire. I also would like to express briefly my support for the workers who make our community possible and that they spoke out today in their union's demands. My question is, when will the commissioners bring this resolution to a vote? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ishmael Noor. Hey, Ishmael. As Ishmael is coming up to the podium, those who are in the overflow room, there are empty seats in the main auditorium, and so if you would like to come to the main auditorium, feel free to do so. Ishmael, welcome.
Hello. My name is Ismail Noor, and I am a Nakba survivor. And if you do not know the Nakba, it is the catastrophe of 1948 that hit the Palestinian people and is still going on until now. I just want to state some few facts. It's this month is the 11th month of killing, mass killing in Palestine, especially in Gaza, mass destruction, and forced expulsion of the people of Gaza and now the West Bank. Thanks, but no thanks to the administration, Joe Biden administration and Kamala Harris, that they sent the bombs, the money, and even they sent every kind of support to the Zionist state in Palestine, which is committing a genocide against the Palestinians. The Nakba never ended, and in fact, I witnessed in my life, I am 76 years old, in my life, all kind of atrocities, wars, and what have you, that is caused by the Zionist entity in Palestine, which is there illegal by the standards of the United Nations, because the United Nations did not ask the Palestinian people about their opinion of creating a foreign entity on their land. That is the fact. So I have a simple question for you. If you are not supporting ceasefire, what do you support? You support all this killing, all this destruction, all this expulsion? We have 16,000 or 17,000 children killed. Have you heard that somebody died because of being feared of dying? That happened in Gaza. People are dying because they fear that they will be bombed to death. Have you heard that people die because they are starving? And the starving is a policy of the Zionist state, Zionist entity in Palestine. And that is with the support of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and whoever in the White House. No matter what, Democrat or Republican, they don't care. They don't care even about you, because you are being killed even there because you are supposedly to be protecting the Zionist entity in Palestine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Next up, got, and I don't want to mispronounce it, Lejla Bajgoric, followed by David Finkel, and then Lori Kamel Ajulini. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Layla Bajoric. I'm a resident of Clawson, Michigan. Across our state, we've seen numerous cities and counties pass resolutions calling for a ceasefire. Ann Arbor, Canton, Dearborn, Kalamazoo, Ypsilanti, the list goes on. Washtenaw County, Wayne County, so many more. This movement is not unique to Michigan, though. The overwhelming majority of Americans across the country and across party lines are tired of seeing our country renew its funding and political cover for Israel's genocidal campaign of land theft against the Palestinians. These words are not hyperbole. This is the finding of the International Court of Justice, the highest court in the world. This is also the direct rhetoric and language coming out of the highest levels of Israeli government, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, who just stated his aim to, quote, mow down Palestinians. This week, in some good news, the Portland City Council in Maine has unanimously voted to divest all funding from companies complicit in Israeli human rights violations and war crimes against Palestinians. Portland is now the 4th U.S. city to adopt a divestment resolution. So this is how far behind we are in Oakland County, grievously behind. The very least the Oakland County Commission can do is bring a ceasefire resolution to a vote and honor the voices and the political desires of your residents to stand against the most well-documented genocide of our time. I'm particularly surprised to have learned that Commissioner Woodward has not been amenable to this process. In 2017, I was part of a fellowship with EJAM, the Economic Justice Alliance of Michigan, an organization that champions low-wage workers, mothers, and those in the restaurant industry, and Commissioner Woodward played a hand in creating EJAM. If you truly care for the well-being of workers, you would extend that solidarity to the workers of Palestine, who are facing indiscriminate bombing, intentional starvation by Israeli settlers who are blocking aid trucks from getting in, the return of polio in the 21st century due to unsanitary conditions created by Israel, the workers who are being dragged into torture camps with no charges. Just last month, Israel's own Channel 12 News Israel's own Channel 12 news station aired footage of Israeli authorities raping and sexually assaulting Palestinians. These injuries against any one worker are an injury to all. They create precedent, and they allow for workers everywhere to be brutalized. This is why the UAW and all major unions across the country stand with a ceasefire resolution. They know this. We must support the UAW, and we must support the Palestinian Federation of Trade Unions. Commissioner Woodward, if you truly cared for the dignity of mothers beyond those in Michigan, you would extend that solidarity to the mothers of Palestine who are giving birth via C-section without anesthesia, the Ethiopian Jewish women who are being robbed of motherhood because they've been sterilized against their consent by the state of Israel, and the thousands of mothers grieving the loss of more children than any genocide or war of recent times. So I ask, when will Commissioners Woodward and Gershonen bring the resolution to a vote?
Thank you very much. David Finkel, Lori, and then Jeanette Eggert. And if there's anybody else, David, as you're coming up here, anybody else in the overflow area that's not here, there are more open seats in the auditorium. Welcome back, sir.
Hi, my name is David Finkel. I'm with Jewish Voice for Peace. I'd like to say that it is an inspiration to me to see all the UAW members here. The UAW is one of the unions that has called for a ceasefire in Gaza. The largest union so far to do so. The demand for a ceasefire is so incredibly important because the massacre that is taking place in Gaza and is now spreading to the West Bank, where whole cities are like Tulkarm, other places are now beginning to look like Gaza City. It is so very important because the massacre is really made in America. It is absolutely clear, and everyone in Israel across the political spectrum knows this, that Prime Minister Netanyahu will not accept any kind of ceasefire deal, even when the American government asks him to, because he is committed to continuing the war. And he will make up one excuse after another. This Philadelphia corridor that he says Israel has to maintain control of, for 8 months he said nothing about it. When a ceasefire deal was on the table, which would, by the way, have freed the 6 hostages that were recently murdered and so many others, he came up with this pretext to block it. One pretext after another. Everyone in Israel is aware of this, even the Israeli media, even his own chief of staff, his own defense minister from his own political party say, we don't need the Philadelphia corridor. We don't need all of these excuses. Netanyahu alone continues the war along with his fascistic right-wing settler supporters, and there's a reason for it. There's a reason he can do that, because the American weapons continue to flow. So it is time for people at the grassroots, as the UAW has done, and as you should be doing, to add the voices of the American grassroots to the demand for an immediate permanent ceasefire. So my question is, when will Commissioners Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the resolution to a vote? It's long past time. The number of people killed in Gaza alone is somewhere between 40,000 and 200,000. No one even knows. Those are the best estimates that people can make. The time to act is now. There's no excuse for any further delay.
Thank you very much. Lori Kamla and then Jeanette Eggert.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to address you. And thank you for my brothers and sisters in the UAW for standing up for what is right. Our values are the same. Please know that. My name is Lori Kamla Argeloni. I am Oakland County as well. I work in Oakland County. I'm a mother of 4 children in Oakland County. I play in Oakland County, and I am also a public servant. But what I am most proud of is that I am a Palestinian American. And I would love to share with you some points where I am here to urge you to be the first county that I know of. Be strong, be bold, be brave, and pass a ceasefire resolution. This is the right side of humanity. This is the right side of history, of creating history, and you could be the first to do that. As an American, I am furious that my hard-earned tax-paying money as a teacher in Oakland County is going to support a genocide. It is nonstop. You heard facts from the other speakers. That is why it is so important you do this. The other thing that I want to mention is that we in this country, with our tax-paying money, have our own issues to deal with. We have education problems. We have housing problems. We have poverty problems. We have mental health issues. We have numerous problems. That money sent to Israel can be used right here in our home. And so, again, it is simple. People ask me all the time, they say, but Lori, it's so complicated. The situation is so complicated. What do we do? I said, it is not complicated. End apartheid. End the occupation of a people, and you will end the violence. Please, I urge you, pass a ceasefire resolution. Thank you for your service, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you very much. Jeanette Eggert, followed by Sharon, Hura Bravo.
Good evening to all. My name is Jeanette Eggert, and I am running for Oakland County Commissioner, District 11. I came in this evening on a different agenda, but I see a sea of red. I'm originally from Liberia, West Africa. I grew up in a nation of poverty. My father served the government for many years. I lived through war. And I'm not a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. My father carried a flag all the days of his life till the day he died. We have the U.S. flag in his coat. I see the UAW members. These are citizens, right, of this nation. As a foreigner looking in, I'm appalled of what I'm seeing coming through your borders. You know, I am an immigrant. You have to protect your nation, first of all. If you don't protect your nation, you cannot protect your citizens first. Your people are requesting that you serve them, that you recognize them. Make them important. You spend a lot of money on immigrants, illegals, I would say. It is time to redirect our thinking and build a nation that we value, to leave everything behind, to come here to serve and work. I ask you, first of all, to stand with your partners. Israel is important. Israel is very, very important. This was not part of my agenda, but I've heard so many said this evening to stand against Israel. Why? It's a nation that have honor and work with the United States. You cannot forsake that nation. The Bible is very true to its core. I stand here, I came to this country with $5 in one suitcase. Today I live in West Bloomfield. I just opened up my first business in Orchard Mall, Elite Bridal, based on the back of Americans who serve, who give their lives. So I say, don't take your country for granted under pressure. People taking to your streets, disrespecting your citizen. It's appalling. So I hope you think about your decisions you make and remember your nation. And I'm gonna say this, America is the greatest nation on earth. We will leave everything to come here to enjoy your benefits, your religions, Christianity. You serve the living God. Don't forget that. As you invite us in, yes, you open your door to us, but don't leave your integrity and your values behind to appease others. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sharon, I think I've made it out. Is it Sharon O'Hara Bruce? Followed by Brent Schraub and then Amanda McMahon.
Greetings.
Welcome. Greetings.
I've lived in Oakland County since 1972, and I was not raised in the Jewish tradition, but I found a teaching that is very relevant to the call for a ceasefire in Gaza today. The source of this teaching is Judaism and Justice, the Jewish passion for to repair the world, by Rabbi Sidney Schwartz. The teaching in the Torah is, you shall not stand idly by while the blood of your neighbor. It's in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16. The prohibition to stand idly by while the blood of your neighbor is being shed makes it an obligation to stop a crime, an injustice, or an atrocity. The choice to go about one's daily affairs as if there were no obligation to act is a violation of this biblical command. We cannot go to Palestine to stop the bombs from falling, but we can speak out. And the future generations will ask why we didn't speak out much sooner. As political leaders, you have the power to speak and to be heard in the halls of power. I call upon you tonight to speak out and pass the ceasefire resolution tonight. In conclusion, every life that is destroyed is an entire universe extinguished.
Thank you very much. All right. I know that sometimes people are getting up. If people want to exit, just so not to disrupt the next person who comes up and speak, why don't we just take a second for those who need to exit. Okay, seeing none, everyone can stay. Brent Straub, then Amanda, and then Jackie Godishian.
Good evening. I'm happy to see some of the commissioners again since budget hearings. My name is Brent Straub. I stand before you both as an employee of Oakland County and a proud member of the UAW. Tonight, we've witnessed this board approve several important initiatives, but one crucial matter remains unresolved: a contract for UAW members. As we approach the deadline for our contract negotiations, we ask for your support in standing with us, not only for the benefit of ourselves and our families, but also for the residents of Oakland County whom we serve every day. We've seen investments in new buildings, community projects, and other ventures. And while we commend those efforts, we ask that the county also invest in its own workforce. We urge you to recognize the value of the expertise and dedication we bring to the county by advocating for a fair contract that reflects both the hard work we do and the county's financial health. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Amanda McMahon, Jackie Godishian, and then Hannah Jackson. Is Amanda still here?
Okay, I struggle because I need glasses to see you guys, but then I can't read my paper. But I just wanted to say my name's Amanda McMahon. I stand before you today as both an Oakland County employee, a proud member of the UAW, and actually an Oakland County employee for the last 16 years. And also, I live in Oakland County. Tonight, we witnessed, this is echoing what we've already heard, but we've witnessed the board approve several important initiatives, but one crucial matter remains unresolved: a contract for the UAW members. As we approach the deadline for our contract negotiations, we ask for your support in standing with us, not only for the benefit of ourselves and our families, but also for the residents of Oakland County whom we serve every day. We've seen investments in new buildings, community projects, and other ventures, and while we commend those efforts, especially the revitalization of Pontiac, we ask that the county also invest in us. We urge you to recognize the value of our expertise and dedication we bring to the county by advocating for a fair contract that reflects both the hard work we do and the county's financial health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jackie, Hannah, Jackie Godishian, and then Hannah Jackson, and then Rachel Valdez. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jackie Godoshin. I'm a 19-year Oakland County employee and a proud member of the UAW. My colleagues and I work hard to make this county a successful government entity. Our union represents workers across numerous departments, including the staff that serves this Board of Commissioners. Through a pandemic and multiple other serious community events, we work each day to serve the people of Oakland County. As the county executive says, we are always moving forward. What is not moving forward has been our pay relative to inflation. Our pay has failed to keep pace with inflation despite our need to support ourselves and our families. Between 2019 and 2023, food prices increased 25%, while our wages increased less than half of that. While inflation was unprecedented, the county's failure to keep wages on track was also unprecedented. The previous administration routinely increased our wages at or above the rate of inflation each year. We are asking for your support in achieving a fair contract that reflects our value to the people of Oakland County and the work we put in every day. Thank you.
Thank
Union
you very
strong.
much. Rachel, want to be mindful of time to make sure everyone has an opportunity to speak. Hannah Jackson, followed by Rachel Valdez, and then Ella Mills.
I'm Hannah.
Okay, pass. Rachel? And then Ella Mills.
Good evening. I'm an Oakland County employee and a UAW member. My colleagues and I work hard to make this county a successful government entity. Our union represents workers across numerous departments, including the staff that serves this Board of Commissioners. Through the pandemic and multiple other serious community events, we work hard each day to serve the people of Oakland County. As the county executive says, we always move forward. However, what is not moving forward is the pay relative to inflation. Our pay has failed to keep pace with inflation despite our need to support ourselves and our families, Between 2019 and 2023, food prices increased 25%, while our wages increased less than half of that. While inflation was unprecedented, the county's failure to keep wages on track was unprecedented as well. The previous administration routinely increased our wages at or above the rate of inflation each year. We are asking for your support in achieving a fair contract that reflects the value to the people of Oakland County and the work we put in every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ella Mills, Samantha Rowles, and then Angela Burnham.
Good evening. I stand before you as both an employee, an Oakland County employee, and a proud member of the UAW. Tonight we witnessed this board approve several important initiatives, but one crucial matter remains unresolved, a contract for the UAW members. As we approach the deadline for our contract negotiations, we ask for your support in standing with us, not only for the benefit of ourselves and our families, but also for the residents of Oakland County whom we serve every day. We've seen investments in new buildings, community projects, and other ventures, and while we commend those efforts, we ask that this county also invest in its workforce, the workforce that sits behind me. We urge you to recognize the value of our expertise and dedication we bring to the county by advocating for a fair contract that reflects both the hard work we do and the county's financial health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Samantha, Angela Burnham, and then Heather Burnham. Samantha? Is Samantha still here?
I'm still here. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Samantha. And then Angela and Heather Burnham next. Welcome.
Sorry. Good evening. So as many of our union members have said, we are standing before you as an employee of the county and a proud member of the UAW. I myself, I've lived in Pontiac since 2008, and I've been working for the county for the last 3 years. Overall, it's been mostly really wonderful and enjoyable experience. So I do appreciate, everybody taking the time to sit and listen to, issues that we feel.
People in the auditorium, can you please keep your voices down so that everyone can speak? So your time isn't used up. We paused it. So started in 15 seconds. Go ahead. Sorry.
I appreciate everybody taking the time to stop and listen to us, especially give you all of our attention. It's much appreciated. I guess really what we are looking for to go back to the values is to feel valued, to be valued, and have a sense of value within our community and our workplace. And sorry, I'm not much of a public speaker. It would be really wonderful to feel that throughout everything, community work, just generally. Maybe, I might not have a high education or a high profile job, but personally, I don't feel like that makes me less valuable than any of you folks sitting up there right now. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little emotional. That happens. I can't stop it. But once again, we would really love it if you would take our needs and everything into consideration and what's also important to your workers and the people who live in your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Angela and Heather, and then Laura Alani.
My name is Angela Burnham from Waterford, and I am Oakland County. Hello again. First, I would like to say I'm not here with UAW, but I stand with union workers and demand that the county bargain in good faith. The Lancet has estimated the number of deaths in Palestine to have grown drastically up to 186,000 or higher. The amount of bombs weighing up to 25 tons, more than an atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, weighing only 15 tons. The bombs dropped on Palestine is almost doubled what was dropped on Hiroshima, and will be tripled if Israel is allowed to continue its deadly path. Not only is it destroying the environment, people's lives, entire families, homes, and its beautiful history, but it's also making America complicit in its war crimes. As some of you know, I am the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, and I am well aware of how a group of people try and completely erase another group. We are aware of what the Holocaust's main purpose was. We all have been taught about its gruesome, bloody past. We all know how millions have died, the destruction it brought. But did we ever think that this didn't need to happen? Did we ever ask, who let this happen? Or did we ever ask, why did it go on so long? Or did you ever think I would have stood up and helped if I was there? Never again means never again for anyone. Time is running out, and the people are losing faith in their government, and there is no undo, no rewind, no pause. What will you say to those who have lost? What will you do once it's too late? So I ask, when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the resolution to a vote? Thank you.
Thank you. Heather, Laura Alani, and then Elizabeth Snyder.
Hello again. My name is Heather Burnham. I'm a resident of Waterford and a member of Oakland County. I want to state also that while I am not part of the UAW, I also support them and am grateful for everything they do and hope they get a fair bargain because they deserve so much. I have lived in Oakland County my entire life, first in Clarkston and then in Waterford. I have been a teacher here, a preschool teacher. I've been in early childhood development for my entire working life. It is so important to me as a teacher to set a good example for my students because I can tell them one thing, but they see what I do. When I show them that I pick up a spider and let it outside, they see, oh, a living thing matters. So when they see their friends and someone is hurt, they comfort them. When they get older and they go to school and they see someone being picked on, they stand up for them. When they go to college, they make choices that support people around them because they have the foundations of empathy. that empathy needs to be expressed by everyone. It's not something you just have. It's a muscle. You got to use it. We need to have empathy for our brothers and sisters and friends in Palestine who are being slaughtered in what is a genocide. My sister said it very, very clearly and eloquently, and I am so proud of her. And as a granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, I am also well aware of the devastation and the lasting turmoil and trauma that stays with any person who survives. We can't take anything back. We can't bring anyone back to life, but we can make a stand and say, we don't support genocide. We don't support slaughter. We don't support cruelty. We need to make that stand now with the ceasefire resolution. You would show not only everyone in Oakland County that you are inclusive and caring and empathetic to the needs of others around the world, and it would make a welcoming environment for people who may not feel safe. And as someone who has faced discrimination as a lesbian and as a Jewish woman, it would mean, I know what that means. To feel included would mean the world to my Muslim brothers and sisters. And to have the inclusion of empathy and kindness as a groundwork for your morals and for what you do moving forward would mean a welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Laura Alami, Elizabeth Snyder, and then Ferris Alami.
Hello again. I'm here to speak on behalf of all the people in my life, my family and friends and family overseas in Gaza, asking for the ceasefire resolution to come to a vote today. My name is Laura Alamy, and I am also Oakland County. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, a professor now, and also a student. And I'm also the wife of a Palestinian husband for 21 years. So our marriage is an adult now. And I thought a lot about this as I'm sitting, and I thought a lot about my conversations I've had recently with people, with neighbors, with people who are just learning about this. And I thought about my experience having grown up here in Birmingham and having met this amazing man, you know, in my early 20s, and having learned about what it means to be a Palestinian and how I might never have learned that otherwise, and how perhaps my family connection enables me to speak on this issue in a very personal way and in a very real way, and creates and fosters this connection in my conversations with others. But I also thought, the only thing that really qualifies me to speak on this is the fact that I'm a human being. I'm a person that's learning about this. I'm still learning. But the more I learn, the more I see clearly that it is a simple situation, that it's a human situation. I think about Ferris's, who you'll hear from Ferris. You'll hear from my mom. But I think about Ferris's long-time family friend, Emil Shahaber, who we were just sitting with in Montreal in one of our summer trips. And Emil's sister is currently sheltering and trapped in a church in Gaza. They are Christian Palestinians. And Emil wasn't able to speak to me without tears in his eyes. It was tough for him to speak about his sister, but he shared with me that she is currently sheltering in this church with fellow Palestinian people. And she believes that her home, which is across the street, has been demolished. But he let me know that she's not even able to leave the church and walk across the street to see what's become of her home because there are snipers in the streets where she lives. So this is very tough to have these conversations with people and to continue to have them. My husband Ferris's cousin Samer is still in detention with no charges, being held by the IDF. He did nothing wrong. He's a healthcare worker. So I ask, when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the resolution to a vote?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Snyder, Ferris Alami, and then Lucas Wyatt. Elizabeth Snyder. Oh, there she is. And then Ferris Alami, and then Lucas Wyatt.
My name is Elizabeth Snyder, and I'm a resident of Birmingham. A bit about myself. From a very young age, I knew that I wanted to help others. When I learned that there was such a thing as a social worker, I knew that that was what I wanted to be. And I became one when I got my MSW in 1965. My social work career began with child welfare work, followed by work in medical home care. My guiding star has always been that every person has a birthright to a fulfilling, safe, healthy life. I feel gut-wrenching anguish and helplessness when I see in the news what is happening in Gaza. The killing, the grief, the hunger, the destruction go on. Since I was here a month ago, it has spread full force into the West Bank. I believe that every Palestinian person has a soul, just as every Israeli has a soul. Each is as loved by God as the other. The way this war has been conducted does not reflect this belief in any way. By my math, more than 333 Palestinians have died in the conflict to every one Israeli killed on October 7th. One is as important as the other. How can we look the other way? This terrible war is not resolving any issues. It only deepens the hatred and resentment. It will take generations to recover. Both the Israelis and Palestinians will have to learn about each other, learn historical facts about the Holocaust and about how 700,000 Palestinians were driven from their homes in 1948. Respect for the Palestinian people requires an independent, contiguous country of their own. It will take hard work to achieve the understanding and respect necessary for the peace of both countries to live in peace, for the people of both countries to live in peace. How will this be possible? It can only begin with a ceasefire. This is why I asked the commissioners to pass a resolution to stop the war, stop the violence, and give the souls of the Palestinians and Israelis the space to begin to resolve the deep issues separating them. Another day, week, or month of war will accomplish nothing.
Thank you very much. Ferris Alami, followed by Lucas Wyatt and Kelly Piena.
Hello, my name is Ferris Alami. I'm a lucky man to be married to Laura Alami and my mother-in-law being here, as well as the rest of the family. I'm also lucky to be here among you, not having to face bombs being dropped at my head, running from one place to another after my home has been demolished, which is true. My dad's house, my mom's house, my grandparents' house, from both sides. My uncle's house, my cousin's house. Every single house is demolished. You may think, this isn't too big, this is too far, we can't do anything. Maybe. And I used to think, how can the world be quiet for 6 million people to be going through ovens and hell and killing them through the Holocaust. Wasn't that long ago, by the way. It was like 80 years ago. And I thought, how can people let that happen? Well, unfortunately, I'm learning how. Turn your back. Don't listen to the stories. Justify it. It's not something you can control. It's beyond your control. Then it just keeps going. Well, I'm here to tell you, you could make a change. While the change may not be something that you could do yourself, you could make a change by making a stand, by saying, not in our name. Oakland County does not stand up for killing innocent people. Oakland County does not stand up for demolishing people's homes that had nothing to do with anything except they were guilty for being Palestinians in Gaza or being Palestinians in the 1948 land. Both my parents and my grandparents from both sides came from the 1948 land, which is today Israel. And that catastrophe continues till today. While I hear about the West Bank, I always tell people Gaza was a proving ground. They proved that they could kill anyone and everyone, destroy anything and everything, and the world will be quiet. Well, it's a green light to do everything else. So if you don't want to do a stand, I'm going to ask you to reflect on what would it look like in Oakland County. Gaza is about a slim of 25 by 5 miles, which basically would mean 5 cities of Oakland County stacked up on top of each other. 5% of that population is killed, which it would translate to about 60,000 people in Oakland County between killed or injured. I ask you to take a stand of stop the killing of innocent people. I'm not sure if it's a war. I'm not sure if any other word could come to it. There's no ceasefire. It's one side firing at another side and killing everything that they see, everything that they could hear, anything that they can. And I ask you to make a stand and say, stop the killing of all people. Whether it's from the river to the sea or from Myanmar to Sudan, the killing must stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lucas Wyatt, Kelly, and then Sarah, I believe it's Beathard. Beathard?
All right.
Lucas.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. I am a county employee and a member of the county's largest union, the UAW. I want to address a pressing issue that affects not only our members, but the vital services we provide to the residents of Oakland County. Despite the record increases in property tax revenue, our pay has not kept pace with inflation and the rising cost of living. In recent years, we have experienced significant inflationary pressures. Housing costs, groceries, and transportation expenses have all surged. Excuse me. Yet, the county's proposal does not adequately reflect these realities. Instead, it requests substantial concessions in our health care benefits, which further compounds this financial strain on our members. Our union members work diligently across various departments, delivering essential services that our community relies on every day. It is crucial that any new contract acknowledges the increased costs we face and ensures our healthcare benefits remain intact. I urge the board to support us in negotiating a fair contract that addresses these challenges. By doing so, you will not only support the dedicated employees of Oakland County, but also ensure that we can continue to serve our community effectively. Thank you for your time, attention, and consideration. I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you very much. Kelly Pena, and then Sarah Beathard, and then Tracy Jones.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Kelly Pena. I am a lifelong Clarkston resident, and I am also a county employee and a member of the county's largest union, the UAW. I want to address the pressing issue that affects not only the members, but the vital services we provide to the residents of Oakland County and to you. Despite the record increases in property tax value, our pay has not kept pace with inflation and the rising cost of living. In recent years, we have experienced significant inflation pressures. Housing costs, groceries, and transportation expenses have all surged. Yet, the county's proposal does not adequately reflect these realities. Instead, it requests substantial concessions in our healthcare benefits, which further compounds our financial strain to our members. Our union members work diligently across various departments. I'm in human resources. delivering essential services to our community and to our other members within the UAW and Oakland County. Every day we show up. It is crucial that any new contract acknowledges the increased costs we face as your constituents and ensures our healthcare benefits remain intact. I urge the board to support us in negotiating a fair contract that addresses the challenges that we live with. By doing so, you will not only support the dedicated employees of Oakland County, but also ensure that we can serve our community effectively. I have watched this board support the Roe Commission during their contract negotiations and others that have had struggles with their contract negotiations. I ask for your support during this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sarah Beathard, Tracy Jones, Elizabeth Beauchamp.
My name is Sarah Beathard. Sorry, I know it's a little weird. Anyway, good evening. I stand before you as both an employee of Oakland County and a proud member of the UAW. Tonight, we witnessed this board approve several important initiatives, but one crucial matter remains unsolved: a contract for the UAW members. As we approach the deadline for our new contract negotiations, we ask for your support in standing with us, not only for the benefit of ourselves and our families, but also for the residents of Oakland County whom we serve every day. We've seen investments in new buildings, community projects, and other ventures, and while we commend those efforts, we ask that this county also invest in its workforce. We urge you to recognize the value in the expertise and dedication we bring to this county by advocating for a fair contract that reflects both the hard work we do and the county's financial health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tracy Jones, Elizabeth Beauchamp, and Suhair Ghanem.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Jones. I work at Equalization. I've worked at Equalization for 27 years. My team tracks property taxes. That's what we do, property values, not the taxes, but the values and the sales. They say that there's only two sure things, death and taxes. Property values, I'm here to tell you, are not going down. The budget is strong. We just ask that Oakland County value its members. I have firsthand experience of how this union has helped protect me at my job, and I'm very grateful for the union and for my job. We put our heart and our soul into serving the county, and we just ask for a fair contract. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm the major breadwinner of my family, and we're simply asking that you use your influence to help us come to a fair resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Elizabeth Beauchamp, Suhair, and then Joan Mundell. Oh, Beauchamp's gone? Okay. Suhair Ghanem, followed by Joan Mundell, and then Kevin Sioen. Welcome, Suhair.
Good morning. I hope we don't stay till the morning. Thank you so much for staying this late to listen to our concerns. My name is Suhair Ghanem, and I am Oakland County. I am here to speak on passing a ceasefire resolution, an overdue ceasefire resolution indeed. Over 16,000 children have been killed in Gaza. I'm asking the same question. How much longer are you going to wait on passing this resolution? What are you waiting for? The statistics are staggering, and I remind you that you, as public servants, you have a responsibility to this community that wakes up every single morning to the bad news about our families, brothers and sisters in humanity living in a nightmare, a hell in Gaza. I want to talk about children. As schools convene here in Oakland County, today there are 625,000 children who have no access to education. 625,000 school children who are facing starvation, malnutrition, and diseases. This war, if we can call it a war, is on the children of Gaza and has to be stopped. 85% of schools in Gaza that have been directly hit or damaged, requiring either complete reconstruction or significant repairs. This war is on the children of Gaza and has to be stopped. Over 20,000 orphaned children and over 2,000 children who lost limbs are still waiting desperately for mental and physical treatments. This war is on the children of Gaza and has to be stopped. There is no justification for killing children, even if Israel is considered an ally. It is the opposite. Israel has to be held accountable even more because we are implicated in these war crimes and breaking international laws. Israel goes down in history, we go down with it. Never complain about injustice, but do something about it. So I ask, when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Christensen, bring the resolution to a vote?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joan Mandel, Kevin, forgive my mispronunciation, Sion, and then Justin Quick.
Hi, as you've just heard 3 times, my name is Joan Mandel. I'm an Oakland County resident. This is my first time to come actually to your august chambers, and thank you very much for inviting all of us here to hear democracy being made. I came here tonight to speak to the ceasefire resolution, and many before me have spoken so eloquently, I feel almost no need to add anything. But I'd like to reflect something that we all sitting in this room seem to have in common. We heard about suicide prevention. Our hearts go out. We heard about coats for cold and hungry people, including not just people in Oakland County, but people who are victims of a war in Ukraine. We heard about the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan, something very near and dear to me. I'm a beekeeper with 30 hives in Oakland County. So hopefully, if you like honey and you like your flowering trees, thank the bees. We heard about the horrible school shooting in Oxford High School. And thank you for looking in and bringing awareness to that and to gun violence. I feel like we all care so much about all of these issues, and it's so hard to hear about genocide, war, and unfair victimization of people. So I'd like to invite everybody in this room right now. I'm going to give a minute of my time to silent meditation so we can all think about what's happening to people who are Palestinian, Israeli, and particularly the children of Gaza, and how this makes us feel, and how this may relate to us in our daily life here in Oakland County, and all the values that we all in common share for social justice, union rights, and environmental justice as well. So let's take a minute.
This is time for public comment, not for meditation. So,
what did you say?
This is time for public comment, not meditation.
Okay.
We've got a lot of people that are waiting to speak.
So my public comment is, I invite you to join me here at my time at the mic with a moment of silence for however you want to spend it, because everybody here has heard from a lot of people and will continue to hear from people. And I invite you to take a break or make a prayer. And now we have 36 seconds.
Joan, are you done? We've got a lot of people waiting to speak. We've waited all evening. Next up is Kevin, Justin, Gabriel. Is Kevin here? Okay, Justin Quick. And followed by Gabriel, I think, is it Bucci or? Okay, there we go. Did I get it right? Okay, I didn't know how that E was going to affect that. Okay, perfect. Okay, Gabriel, and then Robert next.
Good evening. Thank you for your time and your patience. My name is Justin Quick, and I'm a UAW member, and I've been a technical support employee for Oakland County Front of the Court for 25 years. Oakland County is very fortunate to have such a passionate and dedicated workforce. To avoid being repetitive to some of the points that have already been mentioned, I'm doing some of this off of the cuff, and I will give an example of how I witnessed this dedication. During the COVID lockdown, the county was not prepared to continue providing services for such an unprecedented event, but services did continue because of the hard work and ingenuity of the employees. I can only speak on behalf of Front of the Court, but I'm sure that there are many similar stories through other departments throughout the county. For example, my department, we were sent home and not allowed back in the building until months later when we could progressively start bringing people in. But in order to make sure that work and services still were provided, people actually had to buy their own equipment because we didn't even have it in stock. I'm sure you remember some of the supply chain shortages. IT wasn't prepared or even knew what we actually needed because we've never worked from home before. So willingly, Oakland County employees, especially Front of the Court, did provide that, while also simultaneously being forced to balance county, state, and federal mandates. It's very confusing at our job to make that work. For example, by the day, these requirements were changing. What they'd buy a computer, then they were told they had to buy certain apps. Then they were told that they had to buy hard connections, only to 2 weeks later be told, no, Wi-Fi is okay. So what I'm getting at is the point, people were willing to step out, reach into their own pocketbook to make sure that the job worked forward. Of course, they had their own incentive to make sure that they did well at their job. But I'm basically, would like to see Oakland County show that same kind of dedication to their own employees, considering that we're faced with another difficult time financially. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Justin. Gabriel, Robert, I think Rodich, and then Alex Holmes. Welcome, Gabriel.
Thank you. My name is Gabriel Butchie. I am with the Oakland County Front of the Court. I've been there for just over a year. Compared to a lot of people in this room, that's a greenhorn in a lot of ways. But I really want to echo what a lot of my peers have said. Many people have been here for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. I'm sure some of you have similar credentials to your names. And before this, I've been part of many different organizations, be they jobs, nonprofits, academia, and many of them were plagued by very similar issues. Over time, the people on the ground floor of those organizations would experience fatigue, both physical and mental, stress from being unable to take care of medical bills, take care of personal expenses, just not having enough vacation time, any number of things. And that fatigue would lead to burnout, and that burnout would lead to people leaving organizations. This was a huge brain drain to these groups. They lost amazing employees, very talented people, and they lost knowledge. Justin recounted stories of things he remembers doing from many, many years ago to me. Not that many years ago, don't worry. But and I'm always taken aback at the dedication and expertise people have been able to foster by staying with the team for as long as they have. And it would be a huge shame, both to my team as well as to the county at whole, the organization as well as the citizens, to lose that. We need to invest in our employees, both in the short term and the long term. Without that, it's just going to be very difficult to maintain that level of skill in the force. We don't want to retrain people every 5 years on technology that is 40 years old. We want to be able to move forward and to elevate the people to make sure they're happy. They stay with the organization. They're happy at home. They're happy in the office. And not only is it the moral choice to do so, but it's the best way to ensure a strong future for Oakland County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robert Rodich, Alex Holmes, Amrit Cole. Robert, are you here? Robert, did I say that? Yep, from Bloomfield? I think Robert may be left. Alex, I think it's Holmes, but I can't make out the last name. Amrit, and then Hank Kennedy.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Alex Hines. Sorry, I have terrible handwriting.
Oh, no worries. Corrected.
I am a county employee and a member of the county's largest union, the UAW. I want to address a pressing issue that affects not only our members, but the vital services we provide to the residents of Oakland County. Despite the record increases in property tax revenue, our pay has not kept pace with inflation and the rising cost of living. In recent years, we have experienced significant inflationary pressures, housing costs, groceries, transportation, and the like. I could go over the rest of the pre-done script, but I think we've heard it enough times already. We just really urge you to move forward in the contract negotiations and look to support your county employees as much as we support all of you and all the other residents of Oakland County in our day-to-day business. Also, given this opportunity on public platform, I'd like to echo the UAW's official position of a push for a ceasefire resolution. And then I would also like to bring to light my personal position that this goes beyond a ceasefire of a war. This is a settler colonialist genocide being conducted by the state of Israel. So I'd like to thank you all so much for your time tonight, and Union Strong and Free Palestine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Amrit Cole, Hank Kennedy, Nabel Sater.
Hello again. My name is Amrit Kohli, and I am Oakland County. I live at 449 Leroy Street in Ferndale, where I operate my small business, Queer Folk. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. Even when faced with a ceasefire agreement that would have freed the hostages, Netanyahu refused to accept the agreement because it would have meant Israel would withdraw from Palestine entirely. Let this be proof positive that Netanyahu has every intent of occupying Palestine, and that has been his objective from the beginning. For Israel, Netanyahu is their Trump. He is fanatical, radical, irrational, and dubious at best. When he leaves office, he is likely to end up in prison. The parallels between these two men couldn't be more stark. Next month marks a year since Israel's invasion of Palestine began in retaliation, or should I say revenge, for the October 7th attacks. We have been fighting tirelessly to get the commissioners to pass a ceasefire resolution in solidarity with those of us who believe genocide is wrong. Yet you have taken no action. We are growing in numbers, not shrinking. There is a major election in 2 months. We will remember what you did for Palestine and peace when we go to the ballot box this fall. You cannot continue to ignore the rising cries of your own constituents if you consider yourself a public servant hired by the people to do the work of the people. We have been asking you to pass a ceasefire resolution on our behalf for months. There has been no movement on your part, yet we have moved hundreds to join us in this journey. I ask you, who are you moving with your inaction? For months, you have witnessed a genocide live streamed from Gaza 24/7. If you choose to turn your eyes to the carnage, instead of watching the sanitized and propaganda-infused American news stations, you would recognize the inhumane conditions that the people of Palestine have grown all too accustomed to. You would see the dead bodies of hundreds of children, mothers, fathers, and brothers and sisters. These were people who deserved to live. And like George Floyd did not deserve to die at the hands of the state apparatus of police violence, neither did the now thousands of Palestinians who have been killed by Israel's constant attacks deserve to die by an out-of-control extremist government. Netanyahu has pulled the wool over America's eyes. He isn't trying to eradicate a terrorist organization holding up in Palestine. No, he is trying to willfully commit genocide against the Palestinian people, occupy the land, and recolonize it. The last time I was here, I accused this commission of being racist in their application of anti-genocide resolutions. I said this because this governing body had no problem passing an anti-genocide resolution when the targets were white people that look like you. But when they look like me, when those of us who are non-white, people of color, find it remarkable that you can stay so selectively silent. Did any of you read White Fragility? Can I see of hands of everyone who read that book that I gave to all of the commissioners? There are 4 books that you should have in your possession that you should be reading. If you haven't read it, you should. If every time someone calls you a racist, you get offended, it may be time that you change your attitude towards racism. It is not something to be offended by as much as it is something to correct. When someone corrects you for being racist, accept it as a lesson to learn, and as an indicator you need to do something differently in the future.
Everybody has honored the 3-minute rule.
I understand
Thank you very much for your time.
I understand that.
Thank you very much. Hank Kennedy, Nabel Sater, and then Angela Lippard.
My name is Hank Kennedy. I live in Hazel Park, and I am Oakland County. First, as a union member, as the son of 2 union members, I'd like to say that I stand with the UAW members here. I was raised knowing that an injury to one is an injury to all. The great polemicist George Orwell wrote in 1946, "In our time, political speech and writing are largely the defense of the indefensible. Things like the continuance of British rule in India, the Russian purges and deportations, the dropping of the atom bombs on Japan can indeed be defended, but only by arguments which are too brutal for most people to face, and which do not square with the professed aims of political parties. Thus, political language has to consist largely of euphemisms, question-begging, and sheer cloudy vagueness. The politicians of our time do much the same. They cannot admit the truth of the war crimes, the crimes against humanity perpetuated in Gaza. They cannot say that for them, the oppression of the Palestinians is an acceptable price to pay for propping up a friendly government and coincidentally a major buyer of American arms. Instead, they turn genocide into a fight against terrorism. The bombing of defenseless villages gets turned into pacification. The forced expulsions of the native people turns into population transfer, sending unlimited numbers of rockets, shells, bullets, and bombs turns into working for a ceasefire. Arming settlers to steal land is working towards a 2-state solution. A torture camp turns into a military prison. If you oppose what's being done with our money and in our names, these same politicians call you far left or an extremist. Somehow the politicians who joke about dropping a nuclear bomb on Gaza and mock thousands of dead Palestinians are never called extremists. It's time for this commission to decide if it is for truth, justice, and peace, or will it join the many politicians in the House, in the Senate, in the White House, in mangling language and truth to prosecute a bloodbath. Stop the waste of labor, of money, of material, and of human life. When will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring a ceasefire resolution to a vote? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nabel? Nabel, yep. Followed by Angela, and then Izzat Kapoya, and then Kazi Afzal. Welcome back.
Good evening. My name is Nabil Sater. I am resident of Bloomfield Hills. I've been here 40 some years. So I'm definitely Oakland County. This is I think my 3rd or 4th appearance here. Ask you by getting to the end of what I'm going to ask, I'm going to tell you why. It is time for us to pass a ceasefire resolution. What's going on in Gaza right now is switching to the West Bank. What's happening in the West Bank is becoming a replica of what's happening in Gaza. If Americans believe that what's happening in our name that is making us safe, we are putting our lives at danger, every single one of us. We are making America much less safe than what we think it is. I come from Lebanon. I've seen war. I've been in war. I've seen Israeli jets over my head. I've seen Israeli jets over my school. I've seen what they have done. I have lived there. I've seen Sabra and Shatila. I have seen firsthand. I've been in war. It is not pretty. It is not. Our conscience should not be resting when we know that we have children that have been their skin, if you watch, their skin is being peeled off by the phosphorus bombs, and by the depleted uranium that Israel is dropping on Gaza in our name with our tax dollars. While our UAW members in here asking for health insurance and for fair wages, we say no, but we have enough money to send to Israel to kill children in our name. It's not much. The ceasefire resolution is going to pass. It's not binding. Nothing is going to happen. They're not going to stop tomorrow. But your conscience will be clear. Because when you say that you stand for ceasefire, whether what the government does at the federal level is not going to be happening because we're not going to go home today if you pass it and we're going to wake up next morning, there's a ceasefire resolution. Ain't happening. But your conscience will be clear. You would know that you stood on the right side of history. And I'm going to leave you to also have you think of one thing. I have 1 minute left. If you have looked at how much time we have invested in Israel, think about it. 10 visits by Blinken. He sits on the war cabinet. He goes to Israel and said, I'm not here in America, I'm here as a Jew. Imagine if one of us said, imagine if Rashida Tlaib went to somewhere and said, I'm here, I'm Muslim, not as an American. Imagine what will happen to her, right? I'm not talking here about Jews and Christians, Jews and Muslims. I'm just talking about what are our politicians doing? We're still negotiating for 100 hostages in Israel, which is fine. They should be released, no questions. But how about the American hostages that are held in many prisons in Russia? And they made a parade the other day because 3-4 Americans were released. One of them has been there for 20 years. How come we're not worried about those? What is our loyalty? Do we work for America or do we work for another entity? So when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gerson bring the resolution to vote? I urge you to please think about this, please.
Thank you very much. Angela? Is that, and then Kazi Afzal. Is Angela Lepard still here? Yep, there's Angela.
Hello, my name is Angela Lepard. I live in Ferndale, and I am Oakland County. There's been a lot of talk about values today, so we value the environment. So I ask, have any of you thought about what kind of carbon footprint is 70,000 tons of bombs on Gaza? How many weatherization programs do you think are going to offset that? Do you value the environment? Then pass the ceasefire resolution. We have the value of labor and a beautiful showing today of the importance of our labor about keeping them well paid and in safe environments. Shall I tell you about the conditions of the press for people in Gaza? The number of journalists that have died? Shall we talk to you about the number of hospitals that have been bombed? As somebody who has served older adults for over 20 years of my life, I can tell you lots about the Older Americans Act and the value of serving our elders. And can you imagine the amount of elders we can serve if we weren't funding 70,000 tons of bombs that are made here? We have school violence. Do you want to hear about the number of schools we've bombed in Palestine? Or I should say we've helped fund bomb. Do you want to hear about the number of children that have died? If we value those things, we need to value them for everybody. Our Jewish siblings have come and they've talked to you and they said, not in our name. Our Palestinian, our Muslim, our Arab siblings have come here and said, listen to what my family is going through. I don't know if half of them are going to live through the night. I haven't heard from them. They may not be alive. I don't know what else we need to do to make you do something. We've told you about the horrors that Palestinians are experiencing, the record number of lost limbs, the people collecting their family members in bags. Again, these are real stories. During a well-documented genocide where people of all ages and genders have no safe place to go, where they pray for a swift death because they do not trust anyone to act on their behalf. We have given you a way to act, and you have done nothing. Are you okay with our tax dollars and your colleagues at the federal level funding a genocide? If yes, then I will presume you will continue to do nothing. However, I am asking you to be on the right side of history and ask, when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the ceasefire resolution to a vote? Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Izzat, Kazi Afzal, and then Carolina Melendez. Is Izzat here? Izzat Kapoya? Does not look so. Kazi? Then Carolina and Firdouz Maldar.
So, good evening, commissioners and everybody else here. I'm Kazi Afzal. I'm Oakland County. Many of us have been coming here at every Oakland County Board of Commissioners meeting for months. Many facts, data, devastating stories were read here, including today. During these months and meetings, many thousands of killings and devastations were caused by IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, with our full support from US administration. I believe that there is underlying support from many commissioners here for stopping this genocide through a ceasefire. I have to believe it. You're still human. Many of those here are aware of the lies repeated by many from the government officials, elected officials who have sold themselves to the lobbyists for power and money, and so-called media professionals, also called fake media. The men, women, children who were killed may be categorized as human animals by Israeli forces and Israeli leaders. I think that most here still are able to see these Arab Palestinians as human. I'll share something that was casually talked about during a coffee machine small talk. I was there. It's at a workplace. The person who shared the story was a professional working in the tech industry and served at IDF. You have to serve in the military in Israel, everybody, so you know that probably. So this individual served at watchtowers next to the walls separating Israeli settlements. These settlements, the land was grabbed by Israeli citizens from the Palestinians and now part of Israeli settlements and protected by IDF. These soldiers were often bored on the tall towers, standing there with the gun, and needed to find themselves some way to entertain themselves. So an example of creating self-enjoyment was to find young children who were playing soccer or riding bikes. One soldier will shoot at one corner, and the children will start running to the other side. Another soldier will shoot at the other corner, and the children will get caught in between these two spots and run back and forth. The soldier, they wanted a cause, a reason to do torture on these kids and the families. So what they wanted was some kid to pick up a rock and start throw at them. These are kids, teenagers or younger. This gives them the excuse to do the following. Harass the children, take them to Israeli prison without any cause, hold them there indefinitely without charge. Harass the families of the children by frequent home searches in the middle of the night so that they cannot sleep. Destroy the homes of the families. Physical, emotional, financial torture on families and extended families. It is very possible that these children will be categorized by Israeli government as terrorists. Most young IDF soldiers have been brainwashed to view Palestinians as human animals. Do you understand why Israel is also called an apartheid state at this point? Some of these children are neighbors, relatives, friends of the law-abiding people. So
Kazi, I need you to wrap up your comment.
So this is a killing machine that we are funding and we are supporting. As Kamala Harris said, do not complain about injustice, do something about it. I am Oakland County, and I ask Commissioners Woodward and Gershenson when you bring the ceasefire resolution to a vote.
Thank you very much. Carolina, Firdouz, and Hassan Nawish.
I am Carolina Melendez, and I am Oakland County. According to the Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor 3 weeks ago, out of 17 1,000 Palestinian children who have been killed. More than 2,000 were babies under the age of 2. How does it make you feel? Have you ever held the hand of a baby breathing out for the last time? Or is missing life experiences that doesn't make us feel what these people are feeling? In Gaza, we have, and I say we, because the children are from God and from our earth, and all deserve to live. We have children as young as 5 years old that wish they were dead because they lost all their family members, their house, their friends, their loved ones. The ethnic cleansing started in 1947, 1948, but now the Zionist government have reached a new phase, the most dangerous phase of this fanatic apartheid and ethnic cleansing politic, explicit genocide on Gaza, and is already expanding into the occupied West Bank, all while we are watching with crossed arms. This is genocide. The Israeli army kidnapped doctors, surgeons, and give them back after weeks or months of torture with broken arms, hands, and fingers so that they no longer can save lives. To take away food from little children who are developing, where milk, healthy food, water, and sleep are indispensable to grow healthy, that's genocide. To take away from our children, the parents, the grandparents, siblings, and the entire families, even their legs and their arms, is genocide. To blow strategically water treatment facilities, sewage infrastructure, and let paralyzing polio after over 24 years of eradication reappear, and other lethal diseases due to contamination is genocide. There is so much to say and so little time. How in the world so much violence and brutality is going to generate peace ever? Why we have to still continue discussing to call for a ceasefire? Where is our humanity? This involves all of us. We are interconnected in this world. And our grandchildren and children will be blamed for what we are doing because this is a USA genocide. So I ask
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the resolution to a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Firdaus Maldar. Before I start, I want to say that I stand with the union workers and ask that the county bargain in good faith. I have been a resident of Oakland County for the past 13 years. My husband regrets that he cannot be here at tonight's meeting. He's attending curriculum night at our child's middle school. We are the parents of 2 school-going kids, and the past 2 weeks have been all about the new school year. Class assignments, teachers, and bus schedules. But there is no school for the children in Gaza. We know the statistics, and we have read the dire warnings. We have also seen heartbreaking videos of bereaved parents mourning the loss of their beloved children. Today, I'm going to share with you the tragic loss of Muhammad Abu al-Khumsan. Muhammad married Jumana Arafa in July last year. He worked for a plastic supply company, and she was a pharmacist. The couple conceived twins late last year and fled from their home in northern Gaza following orders from the Israeli military to escape Israeli bombings. After being displaced for many months, they moved into an apartment building in central Gaza, where Jumana gave birth to their twin babies, Aysal, a girl, and Acer, a boy. The day the babies turned 3 days old, Muhammad left their apartment to collect their birth certificates. While at the government office, Muhammad received a call from his neighbor informing him that an Israeli strike had hit his home. His wife, babies, and mother-in-law were at the Al-Aqsa hospital. Muhammad rushed to the hospital clutching his twins' birth certificate, hoping to see his family alive. He found them in a freezer. Only in Gaza would you find a father applying for his children's death certificate on the day he collected their birth certificate. Only in Gaza. Over the past 11 months, the Israeli occupied force have killed over 13,000 children in Gaza. Gaza has been labeled the graveyard of children, with over 136 children killed every single day. I would like to read to you the last Facebook post of Aaron Bushnell, who was an active member of the US Air Force. May he rest in peace and power. Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery, or the Jim Crow South, or apartheid? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer to those questions is whatever you're doing right now, at this very moment. As our elected leaders, we believe you are our voice. In fact, you're a megaphone for our voice, and you need to get louder. In a national poll conducted in May, 7 in 10 likely voters across the country supported the US calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Over 100 cities and counties across our great country have passed the ceasefire resolution, including our neighbors in Wayne and Washtenaw. I implore you to bring the resolution to vote and join this growing list on the side of peace, justice, and humanity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hassan Nawash.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to air out the concerns we have. I'm a Palestinian who was born in Jerusalem and became displaced, but I'll come back to that in a minute. I grew up here in the United States since I was 19, coming here to the university. I'm an anthropologist. I appreciate the UAW leading the charge in advocating ceasefire. It is actually consistent with the values of the workers in this country, standing with the oppressed. And that's where I appreciate the UAW stands early against the war and in advocacy of ceasefire. The thing is that with having me hear the grievances and the concern about healthcare here, it seems like the priorities in this country is just like tip the pyramid on its head, because we are spending billions of dollars in support of Israel and supplying it with killing machines, with 2,000-pound bombs, to actually be the priority that we put on in terms of spending while we ignore the human needs. Cautioned by President Eisenhower that we are going to be then slaves to, I'm paraphrasing, of course, to the military industrial complex. I am seeing it today. Now, instead, right now, we are furnishing these massive weapons to Israel to actually continue killing and precipitating the horrible genocide that we are seeing going on. And no hospitals left, no schools, no life, no fuel is allowed, no food is allowed. What is it that will stop us from saying, hey, it is time to stop this genocide right now? And I'm asking you to vote to stop this genocide, because you are on the right side of history, as so many of my fellow Americans actually are appealing to you to do.
Thank you very much. So I think I got through everyone who signed up. And if If there's anybody else who wishes to speak during public comment, please do. So I'll call on you. You can just raise your hand and I'll bring you up. Yep. If you could just share your name and community of residence just for the record.
Ladies and gentlemen, county commissioners, good evening. My name is Farah Khan and I'm Oakland County. I don't seem to understand that how does the genocide of an entire race don't weigh heavy on the hearts? How someone don't lose their sleep knowing that they can do something about it but chooses not to. I simply can't comprehend this. I would like to ask the Honorable Commission that how does it not affect you? And if it does affect you, how come you're not doing anything about it? How do you all sleep at night knowing that not calling out evil and injustice is essentially being complicit in it? The ongoing massacre in Gaza, the suffering of innocent civilians, more than half of them are babies, youth and families, is escalating beyond comprehension. Every time you see a horrific image coming from Gaza and think this is the most horrific thing you have ever seen in your life, and then the IDF beat that image the very next feed. Hospitals are completely destroyed. Basic necessities like water and food haven't just become scarce, but not available at all. It's a man-made famine now putting countless lives in jeopardy. So anyone who survives a bomb attack will die a more painful, slow death by starvation. I don't understand that why we constantly fail to realize that this crisis is not a distant problem. It is a human tragedy that calls for our compassion, action, and voice. We have been urging our elected leaders, both locally and nationally, to advocate for a ceasefire, ensure humanitarian aid reaches those in need instead of bombs sent using our money, and protect innocent lives being destroyed in the most horrific way possible. As a community, as a nation, and as a human being, we can no longer afford to be silent. I ask you again today to stand with me in supporting those affected by the crisis, to show solidarity with the innocent, and to work towards the steps that will ensure a future where every child in Gaza can grow up in peace. And we should start here in Oakland County by passing a ceasefire resolution. I would like to leave you all with a quote by MLK to ponder upon. Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle of equal rights. You will make a better person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in. So I ask Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gretchenson to bring the resolution to vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ray McHarris. I live in Birmingham and have been in Oakland County since 1968. I went to the Jazz Festival Monday night in Detroit with a friend, and he asked me what I thought would happen in Palestine. I just heard a long piece on NPR about the illegal settlements on the West Bank taking over Palestinian land and homes. So my prediction is that the worst that will happen is all the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank will be expelled into Jordan and Palestine will disappear. Then Israel will settle all of Palestine, which they have wanted to do since the partition of 1948. So please don't let my prediction come true.
Thank you, sir.
Please be patient with me. Mike Flores is not here today. I'll be reading his statement as well as mine. So if I go over, please allow me to finish.
You have 3 minutes.
I will try my hardest, Commissioner. This is Mike's statement. My name is Mike Flores from Hazel Park, and I am Oakland County. Although I cannot be here in person tonight, I want to express my gratitude to everyone in the audience for your continued commitment and courage in supporting our collective efforts. You all are Oakland County. For months, we have come before this body urging you to bring the resolution supporting humanity, peace, and ceasefire worldwide to a vote. Month after month, we have stood here asking for Oakland County to lead by example, and we will continue to do so until this resolution is brought to the floor. To those Democratic commissioners still on the fence, now is the time to show your leadership. Stand with your brave colleagues who have already committed to pushing this resolution forward, only being blocked by a few. Oakland County residents are watching, and they expect leadership that reflect our shared values. And to my Republican commissioners, I urge you to join those same Democrats who are advocating for peace, humanity, and for all of Oakland County to be seen, not just a few. By coming together, you can show the region and your constituents that this body, regardless of party, can prioritize human life and demonstrate what our Oakland County values truly represent. I apologize again for not being present tonight, but I thank you for your attention. And once again, I call on each and every one of you to bring the resolution forward to a vote. The time to act is now. My statement. My name is Alia Malik, and I'm Oakland County. I am here once again today because it is due time that Oakland County leads and actively honors liberty and justice for all. The stories of death coming out of Gaza are devastating. I am broken mentally and emotionally, exhausted and frustrated that I am helpless when I bear witness and hear countless horrific images, stories, and videos. I hear from a mom who is thankful because today she says, I found my son's head 10 days after finding his body. I am carrying it to his grave, my head pounding with joy. Today I give him a complete death. Today I can weep for him as I should. While another mother recounts, I told them, the rescue workers, that my son is 8 years old. They gave me a bag full of 18 kilos of human remains and told me to bury it. I don't know if those are his remains or not. As I open Twitter, I see a toddler ripped in half, a baby missing its head, unidentified mass of human remains hanging off the side of a building. All in one day, I see images of a hand hanging by a thread of skin, a severed arm, leg, and a head missing on a child's body. Try and imagine your loved ones being displaced multiple times. You take them to the one place declared safe and staying in makeshift tents, only then to have them buried alive. Or a father who went to get birth certificates for his 2 newborn sons who are just 3 days old, only to come back and find them killed by an Israeli strike along with the mother and grandmother. Children once happy and healthy now are killed by point blank execution, rapid grid. Give me 1 minute, please, Commissioner.
Ma'am.
Killed by freezing cold tents.
Everybody, everyone's been afforded 3 minutes.
One last sentence to finish it off. As our elected officials, our leaders, and our voice, it is the obligation of each and every one of our commissioners in Oakland County to promote diplomacy, resist aggression, and be the advocates for humanity. For only then will we get liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Woodward, Commissioner Grisham, please bring it to the vote.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak during public comment? And if you can just share your name.
Hello,
for the record.
my name is Heidi West from Ferndale, and I am Oakland County. I'm not from the UAW, but my father was a proud member for 35 years, and now thanks to his hard work, I'm a teacher and also a union member myself. And I'm not with the UAW, but I ask you to bargain with them in good faith. I support the UAW for supporting a ceasefire. They understand the importance of standing up for what's right. This is my 4th time speaking here tonight and requesting a ceasefire resolution be brought to the agenda so that your constituents see that you're at least giving everyone a chance to vote on it. Since the last time we were here, hundreds more mothers, babies, and children have been killed in Gaza, and now there's a confirmed case of polio and a 10-month-old baby that is now paralyzed for life. I also want to talk to you tonight about the way this genocide is affecting us here. My middle school students, I'm a teacher, my middle school students are talking about this. They see the murder of innocent babies live streamed and destruction of schools, and they don't understand how we are allowing this to happen. They're traumatized by this level of violence we are allowing by funding the bombs, and they see through what is called, quote, complex issue. But they know sometimes you have to take the keys from the drunk driver. They know that what Frederick Douglass, the late abolitionist, said is still true. Power concedes nothing without a demand. So that is why we are still here and will continue to be. While thousands of children in Oakland County get to go back to school this week, including my own son, let's remember and honor the fact that we are 1 month away from the 1-year mark since October 7th, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children have not been able to go to school, but instead be killed, displaced 4 times, get diseases that should be eradicated, and eat rocks because a right-wing leader there is afraid of his own people prosecuting him when this is over. Since we were last here, millions of Israelis are marching in the streets as we speak to demand a ceasefire, to let the world know that the right-wing extremist government of Netanyahu is not going to bomb its way to freeing the hostages, that only an end to this will keep everyone safe. So if here in Oakland County we aren't at least standing up for a ceasefire, we are standing on the wrong side of history. I want to once again remind everyone here that in 2022, this commission voted for a humanitarian resolution that stood on the side of peace for all affected victims of genocide, yet is refusing to bring this one to a vote. Hundreds of residents have come now. So if we can't have a conversation afterwards, if we can't do that, then where's the democracy here? How is this fair representation? So I ask, when will Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Gershenson bring the resolution to a vote? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Farah Ashtiani. I'm a Novi resident. I'm here again, like a lot of us, asking for a resolution for a ceasefire. For some reason, I feel like I'm obligated to explain what a ceasefire is. It's a ceasefire. It does not stand with anybody. No organization, no state. Ceasefire. We believe being a country standing for democracy, but we do not stand for a ceasefire. So if we don't stand for a ceasefire, what are we standing for? Pro-fire? Pro-war? I don't know. It's a little bit unclear to me. And also I want to emphasize, this is not something happening in the other side of the world. Have you all ever heard of SARS? Or maybe COVID? Now polio? Do you think it's not going to come here? We expect you to protect us. Let alone leave aside the genocide is happening. So let's be very cautious what we are talking about here. The other thing, it seems that we come here week after week with statistics, with many reasons, with many stories. But I don't know if you're heard or not. So as an engineer, I thought to myself, what can I do different? If all the stories, all the statistics, all the videos has not moved anybody here, I want you to imagine walking down the street that you used to live. There's your house, your family's house, your relative's house. It rumbles, and you are hearing the sound of a loved one under the rebels, dying a slow death, and you cannot help them. I wish no bad wish on anyone, but I really, really, really do wish you go home tonight and think about this every time. And remember this, every time you see your children and your family eat, I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, hope you can imagine those who cannot, because we as Americans supported it. And you had the authority and the power to do something, and you did nothing. This is not out of spite. It's out of feeling helpless that nothing else has worked. Nothing. No pleas, no being here week after week. Nothing has worked. Just imagine it. Just imagine your limbs being cut without anesthesia. Imagine yourselves or your wives or your sisters or daughters giving birth without anesthesia. I wish it. I'm going to pray for it, not out of spite. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sarah?
Hello, everyone. As most of you know, my name is Farah Baig. I live in Novi, and I am Oakland County. I am Oakland County. What you see here is Oakland County. I represent the people you're supposed to serve. Let's all take a breath. Each of you, I ask you to take a breath. My beautiful sister here asked for a moment, 1 minute of silence. She was not honored that 1 minute. 60 seconds was not honored to think and reflect about all the horrible things that have just been said? I'm a social studies teacher. I just had the first 2 weeks of school. The first 2 weeks of school, we focus on social, emotional learning. Part of social emotional learning is reflection. We need to reflect on all the atrocities that have been discussed. We need to have time to process that information. It's a lot. And we need to process it in the space that that information was conveyed to us. Why? Because when you all walk out this door, go back home, get in your car, shut the door, all the information that you just heard, all the atrocities you just heard, you can nicely separate yourself from it. Oh, that was something in that chamber I had to listen to. Now I can forget about it and go eat, like my daughter texted me, "Hey mom, you want some Thai food?" I can go home and eat my Thai food. But we must reflect on all the things that were said. Why? Because we need to understand why this ceasefire is so important. Because I am Oakland County, you represent me, you represent all these beautiful people in this room, and we are hurting. I am deliberately speaking very slowly so that you all have time to think about, since I'm not allowed to pause in my speech, think about everything that has been said and do something about it. Bring the resolution for vote. Don't be afraid.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kristen Beasley. I am a lifelong liver of Oakland County. I am a clinical psychologist. I own a business in Oakland County, and I live in West Bloomfield with 3 children whom I told I have to go today to do something very important to help other children who aren't being helped. So the reason I have not come before to these meetings is I have given up on trying to change a system that is bigger than me, bigger than feels almost impenetrable. But these are the people that I came for, because more and more and more of us are going to come and speak out, because we are walking around in a world that doesn't feel like it should be real. It doesn't feel like what we learned in our wonderful Oakland County education of a very specific formulation of history. And when it starts to break down, and once it's broken down, it can't be unseen. So to walk around and act as though we could go to brunch or go to the movies or have family over when there is a dissonance between the reality and then how we integrate that into our lives. So I come here to support these people and hope, I don't know that I have any left, but that hope that, again, erring on the right side of history is for your conscience at this point. It's for nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else that would like to speak during public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay, seeing no others, we will end the second public comment. And without any further business beyond this, before this board, we stand adjourned until September 19th, 2024. I call the chair.